Jeff from Chillin and Grillin with Jeff here. Having some people over this weekend, and it's fall in southwestern Ontario. Instead of hitting the grocery store, I'm going to hit one of our many markets we have in the region. My favorite, Millar Berry Farms. I'm going to pop over here, say hi to my good friend Bill and his son Matt, see what's fresh, see what they recommend for the menu this weekend. Let's head on over and see what's fresh. By the way, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Chillin and Grillin with Jeff. Morning, Bill.
Morning, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing, bud? Hey, Matt.
Good morning.
Hey, good to see you.
You too.
I got some people coming over this weekend for dinner. I'm sick of the grocery stores. I wanted to stop by. You know, I love all the produce you guys always have here. So what's in season? What do I want to make this weekend? What do you suggest?
This time of year, there's lots of squash out in the field. We've got
I see
a bunch
that.
of different kinds
Yeah.
here. We got butternut, buttercup, spaghetti, pepper, and those are sweet dumpling.
One of the things I noticed right away, that's some serious butternut squash.
There's some bigger ones out there too.
Does it make a difference the size of the squash, or will the flavor be good regardless of the size of the different squashes?
The flavor is about the same, but all the seeds are in the bottom here. So if you see a nice big one that's got a large top, you'll get a lot
Kinda like
more
this one here?
fruit out of it.
You're gonna get a lot more out of something like this.
Yeah.
All of that is usable. I like to slice them raw
Oh, okay.
and then pancake, and then I'll cube it up, throw it in a Ziploc bag, and my wife takes out whatever she wants at a time,
Oh, perfect.
including for squash soup.
Yeah, yeah. Or I could cut them into steaks, throw them on the grill since we are a
Yes.
grilling show, right? Cook them up on like steaks, butternut squash
Yep,
steaks.
at the thickness you want.
Yeah, perfect. All right, good. So what else do we have? I'll think about it. We'll take a look at what else you have, and then I'll figure out my menu from there. So, of course, corn is in season right now still, right?
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a long season. It'll
Yeah.
probably go until Thanksgiving.
What makes it a long season? Is the amount of rain we had that's going to predict
Multiple
that a little bit?
plantings.
Yeah.
Multiple plantings. A different crop is planted about every 3 or 4 days,
Okay.
and
that
so
just
that's what extends the season.
season. Great. And what do we look for when we're looking for sweet corn? What any hints you can give me if I'm looking for sweet corn? What's going to make it look fresh or not fresh, or how do I know I'm getting the best?
Well, you can look at the husk, make sure it's not dried out, and you can just see how thick it is, and look at the end and make sure it's not really small. It should be somewhat uniform.
Okay.
And we have a couple different kinds here. We have the standard bicolor, yellow and white,
Okay.
which is what a lot of people like, but then there's also the yellow corn.
I'm a big fan of the yellow corn myself. Yeah.
That's my favorite
Not
as
that I
well.
notice much difference, but I like the yellow corn. I feel like has a little more texture to it. Would I be accurate with that?
It's a little sweeter, I think. Sometimes
Yeah.
the bicolor is a little crispier, so
Yeah.
it depends what you like, but I
Okay.
like the yellow myself
Great,
as well.
great. So we got a bunch of other stuff here. Cucumbers, field cukes. In my opinion, the only cucumbers are field cucumbers. None of these 7-foot long. Love these ones. Onions, and you said something about sweet potatoes a little while ago.
The first ones, don't expect to store them all winter.
Okay.
The later on, in another month or so, there's a process they do for curing them,
Okay.
and those will store right through the winter.
That's a great point. The beauty of living in southwestern Ontario in this region are stands like Millar's right here, right? You guys have all this fantastic produce, but then winter hits. So can I store a lot of this stuff over the winter? Are there any tricks to that? What can I store? What will last all winter?
The sweet potatoes, like you said, the later ones, they'll be cured. They're ready to go. Squash will keep well. Just keep them in a cool area and don't have
Dry.
to do anything.
Cool, dry
Yeah.
areas?
Or you can even chop it up and put it in the freezer.
Right,
and
like
do it
you were
that way.
saying. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Corn, we've all cooked up corn.
Yep.
Take it off the cob, freeze it in bags, do
And
that sort of thing.
with
Whenever we cook corn, we usually throw a couple extra cobs and take some off and throw
Absolutely.
it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And with the fruit, you can make preserves, obviously.
Wouldn't be Millar Berry Farm if we didn't have some strawberries and some raspberries.
It's been a slow season for the fall strawberries, but they're coming on a little better now, and the flavor is really good. So
Yeah.
if you can get them, they're delicious.
Okay,
this time of
great.
year.
Why don't I put a few things together and then we'll square up. So that's
All
awesome.
right.
Hey, thanks for the quick tour.
Thank you.
So our followers
Thanks,
are
Jeff.
going to want to come here. How can they find you? What are your hours or where can they locate you?
MillarBerryFarms.com is our website. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and we're open from 10 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. during the week, and 10 till 4 on Saturdays.
Okay, great. I know I follow you on Facebook, and a lot of times you'll put stuff about the weather, or we just got sweet potatoes in, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we try
So
to do daily updates.
That's probably, oh, look at this. Looks like a great strawberry. Hey, there you go, Bill.
Here you go, Jeff.
No, look at that. This is one of your strawberries right from the garden. That's
Just picked this morning, a
that's
few
a
minutes
beauty.
ago.
All right, I'm going to dig in.
All
right.
right.
Thanks again, guys. I'm going to grab a few things, and I'll head out and get out of your way. I know you're busy. You got lots of people showing up.
All right, thank
Perfect.
you.
Thanks again. All right, I've got some great friends over. It turned out to be a fantastic day. Picked up some great produce from the farm down the road at Bill Millar's. And, you know, thanks to Bill and his son Matt for helping me pick out some great stuff. I got a super menu planned for us today. So we're going to start off with some bruschetta that I've grilled up. I'm going to put some great double creamed brie on there. And I'm going to take some super apples that we picked up. I'm going to julienne them, put them on top, and then I'm going to drizzle some local honey that I have sitting with one of the jalapenos out of my garden in. From there, we're going to get everybody to the table, and I'm going to do a burrata salad. But I'm going to take local peaches, and I'm going to grill them, put that around the burrata, put some nice fresh field tomatoes. We're going to put some olive oil and some balsamic vinegar on there, then we're going to serve it up. And for the main course, I thought I would change things up a little bit. We're going to do a traditional potato salad, but I'm going to smoke the potatoes ahead of time. We're going to add that on, get some smokiness. And instead of using bacon, as you see used sometimes, I'm going to take some capicola made by my buddy Sal. We made it right here in London. We cured it. I'm going to slice it up. I'm going to grill it, get some smoky flavor to it, bring out some of that saltiness, and I'm going to add that to the potato salad. With the potato salad, I'm going to serve up some, probably going to end up roasting these great sweet potatoes that Bill had. Man, they look so good. Not even sure what I'm going to do with them, but I figured I had to have them for dinner tonight. They're fresh. They look great. Then I'm going to do something you don't normally see. I'm going to take some nice light sole that I was able to buy, and I'm going to put that on the grill. I'm going to do it up 2 ways. Won't get into a lot of detail yet, but 2 distinctly different ways. Going to make up some fresh tartar sauce with some dill from the garden. Whip that up, serve it with. It's going to be fantastic. But in the meanwhile, I think I got some hungry people, so let's get started. So I grabbed these apples at the market. They're small. Bill grows them in his own orchard right out back. I cheated and tasted one earlier. Crispy and super sweet. Going to go great with the brie and the honey on there. We're going to have the sweet apple. We're going to have the honey, but I took the honey, grabbed the jalapeno pepper out of my garden, threw it in there for a couple days, spiced up that honey, so I got the sweet apple with the spicy honey on the crunchy baguette and the creamy cheese. It's going to be fantastic. But like I always say, we have a couple grills back here. We're not just going to serve apples. We're going to grill them up ahead of time, get it that little bit of smoky flavor, just a little bit, get a few grill lines on them, and then we're going to season them up and go from there. All right, so pull these apples off. You can see got just a little bit of the sugar, the caramelized on there from the grill, a little bit of smokiness, and then I'm going to cut them up pretty thin, kind of julienne them. So I'm going to freeze some nice fresh lemon on there. Just going to take up that citrus flavor a little bit. Stop these from browning. We want them to look caramelized, but we don't want them to get that stale brown look to them. Now I'm going to chop up this brie. You see I got my grilled baguette sitting right here. Going to get some nice thin slices of the brie. I don't want too thick. Going to leave that rind on there. That's going to bring up the flavor on it quite a bit. So I've got the brie on the baguette. Now I'm just going to put some of those julienne apples that have a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of grill. They're warmed up a little bit from the barbecue when we grilled them. But again, we're just looking to caramelize just to bring out some of that sweetness. And we're just going to drizzle that around, put a little bit of heat against that sweetness. And of course, before I serve this to any of my guests, I have to make sure, do a little bit of quality check on it. I mentioned the menu a little bit earlier, and I talked about jalapenos. What Chillin' and Grillin' episode would be complete without a jalapeno pepper? I had to slip it in somewhere. This seemed like the ideal spot. Let's give one a try. Perfect. Everything I hoped it would be. It's got the sweetness, a little bit of heat from that jalapeno pepper, just enough. And the brie is fantastic, nice and creamy. Let's get this served up. I got some hungry guests. I'm actually going to put a little more honey on there for them, but I think they're going to enjoy this. All right, gang, dinner's cooking up, but in the meanwhile, a little bit of an appetizer to get you started. You know, no summer meal would be complete without potato salad, but because this is Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff, we have to take that up a notch. So as you know, I picked up these great potatoes from Bill over at Millar Berry Farm. I'm going to cut them up. We're going to season them up just right with some olive oil, some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to put them on the big green egg. I'm going to let them smoke, get that nice smoky flavor, kind of caramelize a little bit. Then we're going to cut them up, and we're going to make the fantastic potato salad to enjoy with our meal this evening. So I'm going to grab these, and I'm just not going to cut them up too small. I'm going to chop them all up, cover them with some olive oil. Like I said, we're going to throw them on there. I'm going to cut them up smaller when I make the actual potato salad. But for now, I want to get a lot of surface area. I want these to caramelize up right. I parboiled them a little bit, get them started. I don't want them to burn. I want them to just kind of get that smoky flavor and crisp up a little bit. I'm going to put some great olive oil on there, toss them around. This is going to help cook them up And let's face it, I just love olive oil on everything. Got a little bit of salt and pepper. I've got my big green egg cooking right now at about 300 degrees, which is just right. I want a nice slow cook. Skin side up. Again, a little bit of olive oil on there. A little bit of salt and pepper. About 300 degrees. I've got some charcoal from my gang over there at Bogline Barbecue. We're going to put these on. We're going to forget them. I'm probably going to give them about 45 minutes. Get a little bit of grill line on them. Not going to touch them. Just want them to get happy on the big green egg. Okay, again, yesterday my buddy Bill had these sweet potatoes that they just harvested recently. Man, they look great. They smell great. I can't wait to cook them. Again, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them, but I'm going to get them sliced up into sort of half-inch rings, and then I'm going to season them up. What I like to put on these, just a little bit of olive oil, but instead of salt and pepper, I have my own mixture of dried garlic and a few other herbs and spices. So I'm going to season these up with olive oil and my dried garlic rub, and I'm going to lay them out on the big green egg as well. We're going to let them just slow roast and get nice and roasted and crunchy. Perfect for a summer day. Can't wait to dig into these. We really want to taste that garlic. It really adds to the roasted flavor with the roasted garlic. So we're not going to be shy. We're going to season this up. I think I need a little more oil in there, a little more seasoning. Give that a good toss, and let's get that on the egg. Again, 300 degrees, just going to let it sit and get happy for a while. Just pulled my potatoes off the big green egg, got them all nice and caramelized. You can take a look at here. One of the things I learned from a great local chef, my good friend Sal, is every meal, including prepping, needs to have a little libation. So, all right, I've got my potatoes, and you'll see the colors from the grill. Kind of crisped them up a little bit. Got them to caramelize, letting them cool off. I'm going to give them a pretty good chop, but again, we still want a little bit of tooth in it, so we don't want mushy potatoes. Put them in the bowl, give them a toss. Next, I'm going to take some green onions that I pulled from the garden, and we're going to give them a fairly rough chop. We want to have some texture in the salad, so I'm going to give them a pretty rough chop, throw them in there. Then I've already chopped up some parsley, some of those chives I took from the garden, a little more green onion. I'm going to add all that into there. I'm going to give some nice green color to that. Now the secret is, some people will put bacon in their potato salad, and that's a great way to go for sure. We take some of the capicola that me and Sal made, and we crisped it up on the barbecue. Brought a little more smoky flavor to it. Got it a little bit crunchy. Oh man, it's incredible. And again, gonna chop that up. Fairly rough chop. We're gonna put some pretty sizable pieces in there. Got all that capicola, a little bit of green onion, some parsley. We're gonna toss all that in there, toss it around. Then I take some Dijon mustard, just good old-fashioned Dijon mustard. Give a pretty good helping of that in there. Then I'm going to put, actually, believe it or not, a little dash of olive oil, put some creaminess to it, and a good size helping of mayonnaise. And we're going to start tossing that together, make our nice smoky salad. Before we serve this, though, we're going to go put it in the fridge, get it all to cool off, and all the flavors to come together nicely. We want it to, the longer we let it sit, the more the flavors are going to kind of meld together. You're going to get that capicola, you're going to get that saltiness, the smokiness off the potatoes, the crunch from the onion. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. We're not going to put too much salt because the capicola, of course, is going to add a fair amount of salt texture to it. But we're going to put a little bit just to keep it lively. Before we put it in the fridge, let's see how it's going to taste. Little chef's treat. You know what? I think we can serve that to our guests. Let's get it in the fridge to get together and make it happy. Let's start the next course. So we got, from Bill's Market, we got these great beans. Boy, are they fresh. They just snap. Oh, they were wonderful. So easy to clean. Because I'm going to do them on the barbecue, if I try putting them on the grill, they're going to fall through. Sorry, grill humor there. So all I'm going to do is get some tin foil. Got my beans all cleaned up. They're so fresh, you don't really want to do much to them. I'm going to give them a good shot of olive oil. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper on there. A little bit of fresh ground salt. And then I have still some of that dried garlic that I was using earlier on the potatoes, sweet potatoes. I'm going to add some of that in there. Not much, not as much as we did on the potatoes. And then I'm just going to lightly close those up. We're going to throw them on a nice hot barbecue, and we're going to forget about them until we're ready to eat. One of my favorite meals any time of the year, but especially in the summer, is a nice fresh burrata salad. Burrata cheese right here in the middle of the tray. We're going to bust that open in a minute, but I'm going to add to that some of these great field tomatoes. They're super ripe, super fresh and juicy, but I've got some local peaches that I've sliced up. And before I add these to the platter, I'm gonna throw them on the grill, get some good grill lines on them. I'm gonna go a little bit longer with these because I really want them to pick up the smoke and the flavor from the grill. That's gonna add nicely when I put them around the burrata salad with the tomatoes. Let's throw these on the grill and get them started. Even got a little bit of sizzle coming up from these. That's what we're looking for. The grill itself is gonna bring out some of the sweetness on these peaches. Not that they need much help. Local peaches, nothing but the best. So I peeled the skin off them. Probably gonna give them about 5 minutes. We'll flip them over. And then in the meanwhile, I'm gonna slice up my tomatoes and get everything else on the platter ready. Nothing like a field tomato, they're just the best. So I'm gonna slice these up fairly thin. We wanna get enough to add to it. We want people to kind of really dig in on this salad and enjoy it. I'm gonna slice these a little bit smaller. We're gonna break open that cheese, nice and creamy. Give everybody a chance to kind of grab some of it. The firmer mozzarella on the outside, the creamier cheese on the middle. I'm gonna take some of these tomatoes. We're gonna throw those around there. Look at that, that looks great. We're gonna keep taking this up a notch. I'm gonna check on the peaches and then grab some basil that I pulled from the garden. We're gonna cut that up, sprinkle it on top. This is what I'm looking for on the peaches. I got these great grill marks on there. That tells me the sugar is starting to caramelize in there, so we're gonna pull them off. Gonna give these one more little chop. So we're gonna sprinkle these around here. I'm gonna give this basil, fresh basil right out of the garden. Boy, if you had smell-o-vision and you could smell this, it just smells wonderful. That's why we give it a light chop to kind of bring out some of those aromatics. And of course, this would not be complete without some Sicilian olive oil from my good friend Sal. We keep this just for special occasions. We're not cooking with this one. This is going on top of our burrata salad. Some nice balsamic vinegar. I like to take the fig flavored one, so nice and thick, our balsamic. We don't want any of that runny, watery stuff. Burrata salad with grilled peaches, fresh field tomatoes, and basil right from the garden. Can't get any better than this, folks. I mentioned we're gonna do some nice filet soles. Not something you normally do on the barbecue, but I've got a secret method for doing it. I'm gonna actually do it 2 separate ways. Anytime I'm gonna do fish, I have to do my tartar sauce, and I do my tartar sauce from scratch. Super easy to do. Start off with a little bit of mayonnaise. I'm gonna make that a little creamier by adding a little bit of olive oil. We're gonna put in a little bit of salt, some fresh ground pepper. I'm gonna take some dill that I dry from my garden every year. We're gonna add a fair amount of that into there. We're gonna give that a good stir. And then I take a few dill pickles, including the brine. I'm gonna add a little bit of brine to really give it that dill sauce. I'm gonna take the dill pickles themselves and we're gonna give them a pretty fine chop. Then I'm gonna add this dill right to the tartar sauce itself. Some people will toss in relish, but this way everything tastes a little fresher, a little more dill. So we've got that all mixed up together. I'm gonna put that in the fridge. I'm gonna let it get happy. We're gonna start the sole. Sole, delicate, delicate whitefish, absolutely for sure. Thin. There's no way we're gonna put that right on the grill and grill it up, but we're gonna do it a couple different ways. So I've got my grill at about 350 right now, indirect heat. The trick is lining your grill. Instead of putting a pan or a grill, we're gonna line it with fresh lemons. We're gonna snug them all in nice and close to each other. We're basically gonna make a foundation of lemons. This is gonna stop the fish from sitting directly on the grill. I'm gonna take some fillets, lay it right on top of the lemons. We're gonna do about half this method. And the lemon is gonna put a lot of moisture, keep a lot of the moisture coming into the sole so it's not gonna dry out. And it's gonna add obviously that lemon flavor that traditionally goes so well with fish. I'm gonna give it a little bit of olive oil on top of that. I'm gonna put a little bit of pepper. Not gonna put the salt yet. Just gonna close this. We're gonna keep it as low as we can. And we're gonna let that go from there. Our guests are gonna get settled in on the table. We've got our sole cooking in on our lemon base in here. This one, not something again that you see too often. I take panko breadcrumbs. To that I've added a blackened seasoning. We're gonna add a nice amount of heat to it. Just a little tiny bit of flour. Get a pretty good coating on here. I've got my black griddle inside my barbecue, getting nice and hot. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on there, and then I'm gonna take this out. Again, I want a pretty good coating, but I still wanna see the fish. We're just gonna put that on here. Best way to cook sole on the barbecue. Nothing's falling through the grates. This blackened seasoning has a little bit of heat to it. I'm not doing an egg wash or anything like that. Keeping it simple. Not really a batter, not even really a breadcrumb coating. Just getting some flavor into the fish. All right, we're gonna close that up and let it go. All right, they're crowding the table right now, so we're gonna do a quick chef's taste test before we do anything else. Smoked potato salad with grilled capicola. Man, that is fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. Fresh beans, I don't overcook them. We still wanna keep that crisp. A little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. Wow, I'm gonna stand here and eat the rest of these. Sold two ways. Lightly smoked, or I guess grilled, on fresh lemons with just olive oil, salt and pepper. And then panko breadcrumbs with a blackened seasoning mixed in, done on the grill, just on a flat Blackstone type grill. And our roasted sweet potatoes that we got fresh from Bill's. Let's give this fish a little try. I'll try the blackened one. Just enough heat. Wow, that is fantastic. We got a hungry crowd. I'm gonna turn around and serve this up, and we're gonna enjoy some food. All right, cheers. Good food, good friends, good grilling. Well, we feasted. We had a pretty good meal outdoors. Lots of great fresh food. We're gonna wrap it up with an incredible dessert. Something that is still gonna use some of the stuff we picked up, some fresh local peaches. This time we're gonna make sort of a flambéed peaches, but we're gonna do a brown sugar and bourbon sauce with it. But instead of just regular bourbon, I'm gonna use black cherry bourbon. So it's a black cherry bourbon and peaches flambé. So we're gonna start off by melting a pretty sizable chunk of butter because like jalapeno peppers and olive oil, you can never use too much butter. Gonna put some brown sugar in there to sweeten it up. And we're just gonna give that a minute to get happy. And then I'm gonna put the peaches in there, but I'm gonna slice them up. I don't want them too big. Let's get all that melting up and glazing and thickening up. We wanna get a nice syrup base on there. Add a little bit of that bourbon. And again, this is a black cherry bourbon. Not gonna be shy with it, but we just want the bourbon taste. When we're cooking with alcohol, what we wanna do is we wanna get the flavor of the bourbon, especially this one being black cherry bourbon, we wanna get that flavor, but we don't necessarily want the alcohol. So by lighting it up and flaming it, we're burning off the alcohol, just leaving the flavor of the bourbon, which is exactly what we want. So we're gonna leave this on here for a minute, let it thicken up and get some syrup on there. So we can see we're starting to thicken up. We've got a lot of bubbling going on. We're starting to develop a syrup, which is what we want. Not just melted butter, we want it to be syrupy. You can see it thickening up. The smell is incredible. That black cherry bourbon, you can really smell it mixing with the peaches right now. Let's give this a try. The chef gets the first helping. Pour that all over. Look at that melting ice cream. Before I dig into this, I want to thank Bill and his son Matt and the entire gang at Millar Berry Farm for providing us with some great produce, some fresh green beans, sweet potatoes, everything. Just added to the amazing evening we've had. There's so many amazing farm stands and markets around the area. I encourage you to go by, stop in, pick up some great fresh produce, and eat local and eat in the season right now. So I'm going to dig into some of this dessert. Thanks for watching Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff. Wow. Off the charts. Amazing.